Yeah, he's brand new. He still got the sticker on the back. You still got the paper tag on the back of him. So y'all said I'm funny sometimes. I didn't know it. All right, so Nail Resin Systems. That's what we are talking about today. What are those? What is a nail resin system? Speak up. Yeah, I listen. I'm talking to you. I want you to talk to me. You don't have to be silent. I want you to talk. What's going on? Tell me about it. What is a nail resin system? It's okay that you don't know. Y'all are supposed to be new at this, right? Okay. Well, what if I told you a nail resin system is just a fancy word for glue? Like dip nails. Boop, boop. You know that stuff they spread on your nails and dip it in the powder? You know that's just glue, right? It's just glue. Anybody remember the technical name for glue? The scientific name for glue? Cyanoacrylates. Okay. Remember that acrylates are plastics. Okay. You should know this because we did go over that. But that just as a review, I just want to cyanoacrylates are acrylates, and acrylates are plastic, and everything that we use in this nail industry is an acrylate. You can push it that way, like in between you if you want to. That way it's not in your face. There you go. Okay. So cyanoacrylate, which is glue. So nail resin systems, okay, the type that we use today are very different from the type that we used back in the day. Okay. So we're going to talk about those because why? Because it's going to be on your what? Are we ever going to really use them? Maybe, not really, but we definitely use dip. You guys are absolutely using dip powders and things of that nature. Your clients are going to ask for it. I get asked all the time, about dip systems, and, I have to school people and let them know what they really are because they don't even really believe that it's acrylic. They think that dip nails are some new fantasy nail product that they've never, that no one's ever used before. Okay, so let's get right into it. All right, so we're going to talk about resin systems today. All right, so what we're going to talk about also is what resin is, okay, as well as what nail wraps are. Okay, everybody ever heard of nail wraps? Nail wraps? No. I guarantee you guys have seen this stuff before, but you've probably never, just because it is kind of old school. But they are coming back. Okay, they're coming back. Everything always comes back around. Okay. All right. So we're also going to talk about the advantages of using a wrap system or a dip system. Okay, and in particular dip. All right, because dip is what you guys are using a lot of these days. All right. All right. So why should you learn this particular subject? I think this is the answer all the time, is because you guys are in nail school and you should be well-rounded and know about all of these things. Learning nail wrap systems are going to help you in a lot of different ways when it comes to working with natural nails. Any of you guys plan to work with natural nails? Like at all, not just exclusively, but are you going to turn away a simple gel manicure? What's a gel manicure running these days? I was working on my booking system last night and I was like, I don't even know what they're charging in the nail salon. $45 for a gel manicure. Okay, and most of the time when people are doing a gel manicure, they are doing it on their natural nails. I would say all of the time. A gel manicure is on their natural nails, right? So you're going to want to know how to repair. What if unless you're like me, if I break one nail on my natural nails, I just want to cut them all off and start over again. Or you're going to try to repair that one, but it never quite looks as natural as the other one. If you put like a tip on it and you're like, oh, that's, and you always want to point it out to people. Yeah, I broke this one. It doesn't really look like. because your nails grow differently than acrylic nails. All right, so what can we do with resin systems? Okay, so we've already established that a resin system, let me make this, sorry y'all, let me make this a little bigger because I feel like y'all can't see the whole, oops, let me bring this out. I feel like y'all can't see the whole slide. There we go. It's too much of my big head in the way. There we go, boom. All right. They're great for repairing nail cracks and breaks. Okay, now we're talking about on natural nails here. All right, you really wouldn't want to do this with acrylic or gel nail. You wouldn't really need to. All right. So they're a great option for overlaying and extending the natural nail. All right, and it's actually very easy to do and very quick. Okay. How many of you guys have seen these dip systems, or what is a brand that you've heard of before? Because there's some brands out there. Now, y'all gonna be quiet back there. I know y'all got headphones on and stuff, but y'all ain't gonna be loud. S&S? Absolutely. S&S. How many of y'all heard S&S? And you were like, what the heck is the S&S? And clients will say that, right? They'll be like, do you do S&S? Okay, it's just like when someone says, do you do shellac? When someone says, do you do shellac? Now, some of y'all are new in this industry, but do y'all know what they mean when they say, do you do shellac? Back in the day, shellac, which was the name of C&D's gel polish, when gel polish first came out, that was the only brand you could find, was shellac by C&D. So everybody called shellac gel polish shellac. Okay. In the case of dip or dip systems, when it first came out, S&S was the only brand out there. Okay. It's still around, S&S. All right. And so everybody calls it S&S. All right. So when you're doing resin systems, typical ones or the traditional ones from back in the day, okay, it was resin with a fabric. Okay. Any of y'all got older people in your life, like you know, grandmas, older aunties, older people in your life that they don't wear acrylic nails, but maybe they always grew out their natural pretty nails? Okay, so back in the day, my granny used to do her own nails. Okay, and what she would do when they grew out, okay, was if they broke, she would take some glue, okay, nail glue, and a piece of Bible paper or phone book paper, like really thin paper, okay, and you would just put the glue on the nail, patch it with that little piece of paper, let it dry, file it, buff it, boom, nail repair. Put some red polish over it and call it a day. Yeah, and that's how they did it. That's how they did it. Okay, so now we don't have to use, you know, Bible paper or you know, cigarette paper or whatever they use. Coffee. Oh, that's another one they used to use, coffee strainer paper. Okay, very thin paper. We don't use that anymore. We use something else, and I'm going to show you guys some examples of this stuff in a minute. But that's how they used to repair natural nails back in the day. All right. Now you guys are lucky, because when it first came out, because I say S&S was the first one that came out, that's not true. The first original one that I can remember from when I first got out of school was a company called Back Scratchers. Ain't that a cute name for a nail company, Back Scratchers? Well, anyway, Back Scratchers came out way long time ago. They're still around. You don't see much of their stuff anymore, but they're still around. And when they first came out, they only had 3 colors: pink, white, and clear. That was it. Okay. And they had a little system where you dipped it in the tray, and you could do if you put it in at an angle, it gave you a nice little French tip, not them ones that y'all do today, but the depressed smile line. Okay. And you shoved it in, and that was all you got. All right. Pink, white, and clear. But now you guys are lucky. Y'all got all these colors, and when you buy, like for instance, you go in the store and you buy a gel polish, it will come with a dip powder that matches it and a regular lacquer that matches it, right? So that you guys are very lucky that you have all those options. So And why would you want to use a dip system on someone versus acrylic nails? Acrylic nails got to be maintenance, you know, often. They're not as simple to get off. Like I just said, this is just simply glue and powder, okay? So it can be easily soaked off with just acetone, all right? So if you have a client that's has a special occasion going on, very, very simple to remove, all right? Moving right along. Any questions so far? All right, so a resin system, if we were to define it, all right, is any group of products that includes a nail resin to build strength and structure over the natural nail. And you can also actually do this over a tip, okay? But in the case of doing it on a tip, this is why we learn how to blend very well, okay? So because you're just applying glue and then you're either sprinkling the powder on or you're dipping it in the pot. Now, I want you guys to know something real quick. Now, there's a lot of arguments in the nail industry about this particular subject, but I don't care. What I say to me is right, okay? And then I want you guys to evaluate what I say and tell me if you think it's right or wrong, okay? So we call it dip systems, right? We're dipping it in the powder. All right. Now, it even says in the book, okay, that it's very unlikely that anything can grow inside of here, okay, which I get that. I get that. You're probably not going to be growing bacteria inside of some powder that is not a food source or something like that. But that's besides the point. Okay, I don't care if nothing's gonna grow in here, all right? I don't want your nasty fingers in my pot of clean, uncontaminated acrylic powder, okay? Whether or not something will grow in it is besides the point. What about you people, because my people don't do it, but you people on the internet that cut cuticles, right? Or what is it actually called? The PNF. Those people that cut the skin around the nails, or you're opening up a wound. So you're just gonna put your wounded finger in my pot of acrylic powder that's clean and uncontaminated. It's no different to me than, you know, your annoying little brother that, you know, would lick his finger and stick his finger in your mashed potatoes just to be nasty. Like, I don't want you doing that. Like, I don't want your stuff. So again, there's cleaner ways to do this, okay? Much cleaner ways. So you can dip if you want to. I don't dip my powder in my client's finger, and I'll show you guys later what's a couple of different alternatives to this, okay? Now, nail resins they're rarely used alone, okay? You're not just going to use glue and just do layers and layers of glue, okay? What we typically do is we use the nail resin, which is a cyanacrylate, okay? And y'all remember this, okay? I think we talked about it when we talked about chemistry. What's in a super glue bottle? Is that any different than what's in this nail glue bottle? Is it? What's the differences in the glues? The viscosity, okay? So a super glue is going to usually be, well, it just depends on which brand you get. But a super glue is going to usually be a little bit thicker if you get that Gorilla Glue big container, right? With the blue top that everybody uses for stones, right? E3000, that ain't nothing but a super glue, okay? All of these things just have different viscosities, and the reason for the different viscosities is so that you can work with them faster or have a little bit more time to work with them, okay? Our nail glue is very thin, right? You want it to dry quickly, don't you? You don't want to be standing there holding that tip forever. And you know your glue is getting bad when it does get thicker, right? It's like taking too long to dry. So also they come in these small tubes, because anybody who's ever used a big container, I'm guilty. I used to have a big old Gorilla Glue container that I got from Home Depot sitting on my nail table. How unprofessional is that? And if you've ever done that, you know that that glue, by the time you get halfway through it, is no longer usable because it's dried out. It's not doing what it's supposed to do anymore. It's too thick. It won't come. The container top, you gotta cut it off and do all. It's just too much. So why would you use something that you buy at Lowe's versus what you can buy at the nail supply and be looking like an actual nail tech and not a carpenter? Okay. But at the end of the day, they're all cyanoacrylates. Okay. So thicker, thinner, just depends on what you are doing. All right. So with a very thin viscosity of your glues or resins, those are going to be used as to glue your tip on, or a tip adhesive. Okay. And when we're talking about resins in our nail resin systems, a thicker viscosity, what do you think that's for? Because we talked about viscosity last week with gel, right? And why you would want a thicker viscosity versus a thin viscosity. What did we say about the thin viscosity gels last week? What were they generally used for? Thin, runnier viscosity gels. What about your base? As your base gels are usually really thin, right? Because you don't need them to be super thick, because you're about to add a builder gel that has a thicker viscosity to it. So think of a resin systems in the same way. All right. So you got thin viscosity resins. All right. So when we go to lay our first layer, that's generally going to be your thinner viscosity base layer. Okay. And then if we get a thicker viscosity resin, what do you think that's going to be for? To build the nail up. Okay. So because remember, we're using glue, and then the glue is absorbing the acrylic. Okay. Anybody ever done a dip nail or had their nails done with dip? Huh? Yeah. You know, they put the glue on there, and then you dip it in the powder, and then you see that it's starting to absorb. It looks sugary and dry at first, and then as it absorbs, it starts to get wet looking, or you know, you still understand what I'm saying? You guys will see when I demonstrate this. Okay. So when you go to buy these systems, because you can go and buy a full dip system, you can go right over there to Mr. Johnny's and say, it'll say step 1, step 2, step 3. It literally has on the bottles which step is which. All right. Usually step 1 is going to be your dehydrator. Then you got your primer. Step 2, step 3 will be your base. Step 4 will be your builder. Step 5 will be your top. Right. Step 6 will be the sealant, the stuff you put over it to make it get hard and dry. All right. Let me ask y'all something. Well, first let me just say that these systems, they cost like $100. You buy everything all together, it's gonna cost you about $100 for all of these things. Let me ask you something. Do you have dehydrator? Do you have primer? Only thing you don't have is probably the base gel, the builder gel, and the top gel, right? And then your sealant, all right, the stuff that you put on the last step, is supposed to dry the glue. Do y'all have glue dryer spray? Well, you're gonna get some, but you know what I'm talking about. We got it here. That activator, right? That's a glue activator. It comes in all different forms: spray, brush on, all of that stuff. But you probably have everything you need to do dip already, except for a bunch of different colored powders. Okay, you probably already have it, and then you may even have some colored powders probably already. All right. So with that being said, what are those differences in those 3 things: the base, builder, and the top? The viscosity. That's it. Okay. So, and because they're all the same exact thing. Again, marketing. Okay, this is how they get money out of y'all. All right, and at the end of the day, you really only need one viscosity if you ask me, and that's that medium viscosity, because you can use it as a base, the builder, and the top. And that's why we have what we have. For you guys, it's the base, the builder, and the top, because ain't nobody about to be buying 3 different bottles of glue with a different name on it. All right, y'all got me? Okay, so let's talk about nail wraps, because this is probably something you've never seen before. All right, and I brought several different types. Here, teacher in training, keep the book. I don't need it, I've got it memorized. Good morning, everybody. All right, so there's several different types of, hold up, why are you moving? There we go. Okay, there's several different types of wraps out there. All right, can anybody name one? Maybe you don't know, maybe you do.
Silk.
Okay, silk. What's another one? See, you thinking about soak off.
Okay.
She said foil wrap. We're talking about for extending nail. So we got silk. What's another kind? I'm about to say, y'all better read that book. Fiberglass. Okay. Fabrics. Okay, that's gonna be your silk. Okay. There's several different types. All right, so let me pull up my screen so you guys can see. Oh, where's my dot? There's my dot. Okay. So you guys can see what's going on here. Let me see over here. Zoom that out a little bit. Okay. So you've got actual silk, okay, and this is from Amazon. Okay, I bought it on Amazon, but you can get this from Sally's. All right. Let me just tell y'all something. Once you learn this skill, you will want to use it. Okay, because if you have clients that want very natural looking nails, this is the most natural nail you will ever do. I can make a nail out of any of these 3 mediums that I have up here that you won't be able to tell me that I didn't grow it. I mean, from the tip to the back of the nail where the nail bed is, if you got the right products, you can make, y'all ever seen those super hyper realistic nails? You can look it up on Instagram. They're out there, okay? Hyper real, I call them hyper real. Now, on my booking site, it's the Naturalista, but you can call it what you want to call it. But I charge a lot of money for it because they are the most natural looking nails, and you can't tell the client, or nobody can tell you that they're not real. Okay, so this is silk, okay, and it says on here China silk wrap. All right, guarantee you can get the same silk from one of the fabric stores. It's just a silk, okay? It's just a little piece of fabric. It probably did come from China because, you know, everything comes from China. I got this pre-tariff, though, so it wasn't as good. All right, so you see how thin this is? All right, so when you apply this, okay, because some of you guys, I know you've seen these little scissors, and we've discussed what these scissors are for. They're not for trimming the skin around the client's nail, okay? Therefore, cutting this very, very thin silk and cutting it very detailed so that you can cover the entire nail if necessary. Now, I tell y'all, why are you trying to cut it perfect to the shape of the nail? I don't know. You don't need that, okay? But why would we use this on top of a natural nail? Like, what do you think? Because you're probably like, what? It's not gonna make sense until I put it on the nail. Which I'm gonna need somebody to have a naked nail come up here and let me demonstrate this. You literally can't see it at all. Okay. Think about, remember when you was a little kid and you got a hole in your jeans? Because y'all probably always had when I was a kid, there was something wrong with you if you had holes in your jeans. We put patches over our jeans. Okay. We weren't allowed to go to school with holes in our jeans. Now you buy them with holes in them. Okay. Telling my age. You get that hole. You get a fall and scrape your jean. Put a hole in your $30 pair of Wranglers, because that's what we wore back then from Walmart. You put a hole in them and come home and see what your mama had to do. She mad at you because she had to put a patch on it because you couldn't go to school with holes in your jeans. It was against the policy, the uniform policy. Okay, I'm gonna talk about it today, y'all. I need to just start me a whole politics channel. No, I probably met people who won't come to my school then. All right. They were like, I don't like Miss Mary's politics. I ain't coming to her school. All right. So this is like putting a patch over a hole, or putting a patch on something that's weak. Okay, so your natural nails, a lot of y'all probably wear acrylics, I'm gonna assume, because you can't grow your natural nails to a length that you want. If you could grow your nail, we used to have a student in here, you remember Bianca? Bless her, she had the most beautiful nails, and she come in here with them beautiful nails with her natural nail polish on, with her little designs, and I'm like, oh, you ain't so. She don't have to wear acrylic because her nails were so strong and so pretty. Some people blessed like that. The rest of us in the world, we not blessed like that. Okay? So what do? We destroy our nails with acrylics and gel and all that stuff, right? So what do you want to do if you want to thicken up or make your natural nail, keep it natural looking, okay? Because I get a lot of nurses that want their nails done because they know they're not supposed to wear it, but they want to. But they can grow their natural nails a little bit, right? So they come to me because they're like, well, I know you're gonna keep me from getting written up and called on the carpet. I can get my. They gonna think they're natural. So what you do is you cut this into a shape or into the length or whatever, and you can literally just slap this on the nail and then cut it. Okay, but you put the glue, like brush it on like polish, and this is why, you know, I know y'all hated me in the beginning. I was making y'all polish 100 times, but if you can't polish, you just get out of here, because everything that you do in this industry requires you to know how to at least polish. You can't put primer on properly if you don't know how to polish. I was live the other night. Did any of y'all catch me live while I was doing my clients' nails? You was shocked, wasn't you? Miss Mary does nails. Well, I don't just teach it, y'all. I got a little experience. I ain't one of them teachers. You got a hairstylist in here teaching nails? No, I do nails. So while I was doing the ladies' nails, the people on the live was like, why are you being so careful with the primer? What?
It's an acid.
Why are you only putting it on the natural nail? You guys should know the answer to this, right? But I forget that I'm not teaching when I'm live sometimes, so I try to make. But if you can't polish properly and you're just getting primer all over the skin, what are you doing? What happens to that client's skin? First of all, it's an acid, right? It probably is gonna burn. If you're getting that acid primer all over the acrylic, which is unnecessary, even when you're doing a fill-in, you're probably going to have yellowing of the nail, or it's probably going to crumble and fall apart because acid is acid. Okay? So once you learn how to polish well, and that's a skill you need to be able to brush on this glue properly and evenly, then you lay the silk on there and it just disappears. The silk disappears. But now you have a nail that is much stronger than what it was before with just one little thin layer of silk. Okay, this is and again, what if I, because these are my natural nails, y'all see these nails still on? I keep saying I'm gonna do my nails, and I just keep not doing them because I'm just getting busy. I'm busy, y'all. But y'all see every little one of them stones still on. Shout out to the bling bond. Shout out, it's still on my toes too. if you, what was I fixing to say? Oh, I know what I was fixing to say. So so these are my natural nails, right? So let's just say,
supposed to have all the answers.
right, I'm like, Shayla, what was I supposed to be saying? Yeah, you was about to say. So this little nail right here, if I broke it, I'd be devastated because it's the longest one I have on my finger right now. And it just grows like that. This is the nose picker. Okay, so if this one broke on the side here, of course I wouldn't cut it. Why would I do that? It took me how many weeks since before masters to grow these nails, okay? So what am I gonna do if it just breaks on the side here? I'm not gonna cut it and cry about it. I'm gonna take this gel polish off, I'm gonna soak it off, and then I'm going to get a little piece of silk there and patch it and buff it smooth, and you will never know that it was broken, ever.
I actually did that last week.
Did
on
you?
A client, because the same thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, I don't want to cut it. And I was like, we don't have to cut it. Just fix it, put a little glue,
Right.
a little paper.
Right. Now this is for your natural nail girlies, all right? Because if this was an acrylic client, I mean, just tip on it, call it a day. Sculpt it, cut it, fix it, whatever. But if you're natural nail, you want to do that. So this is the silk. Everybody know what the silk is. Will you let them feel of it?
Sure.
Okay, and you can get you some. It's like $2. Get you some from Amazon, okay? So that you have it for purposes of repairing your natural nail clients when they come in, and because we take pride in growing a little something on our nails. We really do. Okay. Now the next one that I'm going to show you, okay, which this is more this is coming into the future, okay, because that's the stuff right there. See how thin it is? Very thin. All right. Now this is called fiberglass. Okay. Y'all see the box? Fiberglass nail wrap. Get this from Sally's too. You can get all this stuff from Sally's, all right? Because they still doing stuff from back in the day, all right? Now, you'll want to have, this is why we have tweezers in this industry, okay, for a lot of reasons, but this is going to help, and I brought out a bunch of new ones today for y'all. All right, so can you see? Hopefully it's visible. Oh, yeah, you can see it real good. You see, y'all ever seen like fiberglass on a car, like they call it fiber or whatever? What do they call it on cars when people carbon fiber? Yep. It has that look, that fiber look. Okay.
I said it's expensive.
Oh, it's expensive. Well, you got a man on. He got it on his car, don't he? Probably. Yeah. It used to be a look that people wanted on like their paint job or something like that. But anyway, it has that fiber, like it looks like woven linen, okay? So this is on paper backing, and it has a sticky back to it, which makes it a little easier for you to apply it before you put the glue on. So let me cut a little piece off for y'all and show you what it actually looks like. Again, that's what these little scissors are for, okay? I'm gonna bring out some other ones too for y'all. I'm gonna cut a little piece off. So what you would do here in this case, you can peel this off of the backing here, and it's not that it will kind of look a little raggedy on the side, but we don't care about that. We're gonna pull this off, right? You wouldn't take a piece this big, you would cut it smaller. But you see how thin that looks? It is very thin. It has a sticky back on it, okay? So you could apply this, and it's not really sticky, but you would apply this to your client's nail, okay? Lay it down, and that way you can trim around it if you wanted to. The sticky back helps with that, okay? And then and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I've seen people try to cut it to the exact shape of the nail. Just cut a little square rectangle out couple of different little square rectangles out, patch it up where you need to patch it, and call it a day, okay? But then you just can lay the glue right on top of it and it will literally disappear, okay? Now the silk is the most invisible, okay? Once you put the glue on it, it goes completely invisible. This one you can kind of see the little cross hatches in it, okay? So that's what the fiberglass looks like, okay? And it is just as thin, if not thinner, than the silk, okay? So what you use will depend on your, your preference. Now, I'm sure, well, I hope some of y'all have seen these before, okay? Now, these are also fiberglass, but they are the newer, more updated version of, use your nails. I don't nails. This is a more updated version of fiberglass. They're called fiberglass strands. Thank you. No, I grabbed it just right. Okay. So these are fiberglass strands. Okay. Y'all ever seen these before? No? TikTok, right? TikTok. So these are the strands that make up this, but in a bundle. It's like, a bundle of hair. All right. So, and they're stuck together at the end here. All right. So what you see people doing with this, now you really got to kind of go in there and separate it like this. See what I'm doing? To make it look like hair. All right. This is really good for patching up nails too, but extending the nail. Okay. So if you want it, let's just say, and I've done my nails with these strands, and baby, remember that gel I showed y'all last week that looked like natural nail tip, like it was kind of yellowish looking? Yeah. You take this, okay, you would use this with, I prefer, you could use it with glue, you could do this with resin, but you don't have, what's the difference with resin versus gel? How does it cure? The gel is going to cure under a light. The resin cures with air. So when you have air as your curer, you don't have a lot of time to work with it, okay? So you can, just like you guys were laying your gel last week, overlay, right? You can take a little overlay of gel, place these strands on the nail, okay? Cure it, then take it out of the light, trim it, and that's going to be your nail tip, okay? And then you put gel on top of it, and if you're going to try to do a really natural looking nail, then you would use that natural looking gel, okay, on the tip, and then your other color on the back, clear or pink or whatever that you're going to use. And because this is flexible, what did I tell you guys about gel when you first take it out of the light? What is it? It's sticky, but what else is it? It's warm, right? It's a plastic, right? So it's warm, so it's going to be more flexible, so you can bend a C-curve into it and make it look like a real nail versus a tip, okay? And because you're putting it right on top of your client's natural nail, it's going to take the shape of that client's natural nail, okay? So if your client has more really, really deep C-curves naturally, which is going to be your natural nail clients, they're going to be the ones that want this type of repair. Okay, if they've got a really deep C-curve, when you lay these strands on there, it's going to just lay right around that C-curve, and that nail looks natural. It's not going to be like a tip that you have to force down, or even with sculpting, it's just going to be, you could do it with sculpting too, but this is just so much thinner. Okay, think about it. Look at this tiny little thin piece of paper. How thick is your natural nail realistically? And I ain't talking about you girls that got these really thick nails, just blessed, okay? But most people have a very thin tip on their, as far as their free edge is concerned, okay? So this is the strands, fiberglass strands, and I can give you guys an example of this. This is some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing live from my home studio, showing you guys how to do, okay? Because we don't really like this. Unfortunately, you guys have to do 0 gel on your state board. Well, fortunately for some people, because I can tell you now, some people wouldn't pass if they had to do a gel nail had stayed bored. But, okay, this is an advanced technique. They also come in these, this is like a big bundle, okay? And it's just a long strip of this particular same thing, okay? So you can buy these in online. Fiberglass strands is what you would look for, okay? Everybody understand what I'm talking about now that I'm when I say wraps, okay? So that is what you would call a natural. Those are wrapping linens and silks and things like that, okay? Now again, these days you're not going to see, most nail techs are not, they probably don't even have this at your salon, do they? You'd have to bring it yourself.
I have one of the little rolls.
The rolls.
That's what I fix her nails.
Again, get this from Sally's. Just keep it just in case. Your client's gonna think you a magician if you pull out something like this. Okay, for real, they'll be like, I ain't never seen that before. Okay, and then you fix their nail and make it look perfect again. Okay, so again, they're used to repair and strengthen, and also I showed you guys the different types of wraps out there. Okay, for y'all that are taking notes, there you go. Now, when you can buy these in systems, okay? When you buy them, they come the activator spray, the spray that dries the glue, okay? It can come in a spray bottle, it can come in a brush bottle, or you can use an aerosol can like we have here, okay? I prefer the aerosol can. So much easier. You don't have to worry about the brush getting hard on the tip, because you guys are gonna have these experiences today, okay? Because guess what? Y'all got the brush bottle, okay? And when you buy these systems, it'll have like a brush saver. Oh, that's another. It'll be like step 7, brush saver. What do you think the brush saver is?
Brush cleaner.
And what is brush cleaner?
To clean whatever you're.
What is it chemical wise in that bottle? Acetone. Y'all paying for acetone in a bottle. Stop letting these people sell y'all a bunch of BS that y'all don't need. Okay, because you got acetone. Don't you got some acetone? You got acetone. And if your bottle gets, if your brush gets hard because you've been rubbing it on the nail on glue, then what are you gonna do? Put a little acetone, let it soak a little bit. That's all you're gonna do, okay? Or get you a bottle, like, let me show you that empty bottle. Get you an empty bottle. You guys can buy empty bottles at the nail supply. Get you an empty bottle, and guess what you're gonna do? And when this gets hard, put it in there and let it sit. That's exactly what they're doing, okay? I probably shouldn't have done that. We'll use that for okay, so everybody got that, because some of y'all are writing. Okay, so you can use wrap systems or dip systems to extend nails. All you got to do is glue the tip on, right? Clip the tip, shape the tip, blend the tip, buff the tip, and then put your glue and do all your dipping and dipping and dipping. My question to you is, why are you doing that? There's a valid answer to that. So we've already established that the powder, the dipping powder, is acrylic, right? So, some people are gonna get their feelings hurt, and I don't care. If you are gluing a tip on a nail, and you're buffing it, shaping it, filing it, and doing it, and then you're dipping it in dip powder, the only reason you're doing that is because you ain't good at laying acrylic. Sorry, you don't care to learn to get good at laying acrylic, obviously, because you can take this, some monomer, and boop, 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 lay it on the nail, call it a day. You know how many times you got to dip your finger into this to build it up to be strong enough and thick enough to be an acrylic nail? Do you know how much time that's going to take? Now, again, there's a valid reason to do it because you ain't good at laying acrylic. So if you're not good at laying acrylic, then do that. But why are you working in a nail salon, building up nails and gluing on tips and dipping it in powder over and over and over and over and over and over? Because it's going to take you about 5 layers, okay, to get it thick enough. And then you still got to file it and shape it. You still got to file it and shape it. You still got to put a clear coat on top of it to cap it so that you can file it and shape it. It's just a lot of work. It's unnecessary work. So I would say build up your skill with acrylic so you don't have to do all that with a tip. I get it with a manicure because it's fast, quick and easy. You need two little layers, call it a day. Okay? 3 layers, base layer, 2 layers of, this is just like polish. Okay? Just like polish. How many layers of polish do we need? 2. All right. What about our base coat? Our base layer, right? We got a base layer, which is going to be a layer of clear. Okay. And then a top layer, which is a layer of clear powder. That's why they sell these in, you get clear, and then you'll get like a pink or a white or whatever. And then if you want to buy these colors, that's why they sell it. This is just like polish. So, and why do you think they sell them in those trios? For you, maybe you got a client, because the gel polish is supposed to be the same color as the powder, and it's the same color as the lacquer, right? So they sell those because some of these nail salons, they offer all of those services. If you're not offering dip services, don't buy the trio, y'all. You don't need this. This is colored, unless you're doing colored acrylic for encapsulations and things like that. That would be a reason to buy it. But now you can nowadays get all 3 for like $12, $16, all 3 lacquer. Okay, so it's whatever, however you choose to do it. Okay, now y'all see this system up here? That's what you'll buy at like Sally's. Okay, they're little wrap systems. They have these systems where it comes with the file, the soak off pads, the scissors, the tips, the primer. Everything's there. Primer, spray, activator, all of that good stuff. Now, when you are doing natural nails, and again, this is for state board purposes, because I feel like when you put this on, and just put it on the entire nail. Nobody's just doing a stress area strip, okay? But on state board, they're going to ask you, what is a stress strip? Okay? What is the stress area of your nail? The apex ought to be the strongest area of your nail. The free edge, right where the free edge meets, where the pink meets the white, that line. That's your stress area. If your nail's going to break, 9 times out of 10, it's going to break there. So again, for state board purposes, they will ask you, where do you put, if the nail is weak, where are you going to put a strip of that fabric? You want to put it in the stress area, and they want you to cut out a piece that's just long enough to go across that area if you're just trying to strengthen the nail. Me, I'm just going to cut out a piece and just put it on the nail, because it's not really going to make a big, huge difference, okay? It's still going to cover that stress area, all right? But when we're building nails, we do the same thing, don't we? We put a little bit more. We want to make sure that area of the nail is not thin and weak, okay? So it's the same premise, you guys. We're just using a different type of product. All right. Now, this is important again also for state board purposes. All right. Well, and in real life, but maintenance on nail wraps, just like maintenance on any other product, is what? How many weeks? 2 weeks. Okay. 2 weeks. Now, when you have a client with natural nails, after 2 weeks, all you will need to do to fill in the back, okay, is add a little bit of glue and buff it just to the back, just like you would a fill-in with acrylic. You would just prep it, obviously prep it, okay, dehydrate, prime, and then add resin to the back. Just brush it on and then blend it and shape it just like you would with acrylic. On that 4th week, though, you're going to need to add some resin to, some fabric to that back area, because you don't want the nail as it grows. If you've got a client that's growing their beautiful natural nails out, you don't want there to be like a gap where there's no fabric, and then there is fabric. No fabric, then there is fabric. No okay, so it ends up being, you want to keep the whole nail strong, okay? So after the 4th week that when they come in for that that next 2-week application, all right, you're going to want to add additional fabric and resin as well to fill in the area, okay? So does that make sense? You don't want to just keep adding resin, and then you got a strong tip and then the back is weak because you just you didn't put any fabric back there. Okay? And it'll make sense when you see it, when we put it on a nail. All right. So let's talk about how we apply it. Because I already told y'all, and y'all going to do what y'all want to do, and you're going to be working in a nail salon like Shayla is, and they're going to do what they want to do, and then you can't really, it don't make no sense for you to do stuff the clean way because they doing it, they messing up everything. That's why you got to have your own products. Or that's why I can't work in a nail salon with other people. Because it's like y'all in here. Y'all mess up the polish. The next person can't have a clean polish for the next person, and you over here keeping it nice and clean. The next person just throws it up there, gel all over the bottle. You know what I mean? I can't deal with that. So she can, I guess, but imagine see all that polish I got back there? That's how much polish I would want to drag every day. I'd have to have a polished suitcase. You know what I'm saying?
Or they tell me like what color wave they want to go with. So like if they want to do pink, then I'll bring all pinks.
That's if she's got appointments that day, you know? She knows ahead of time.
So it's like renting your desk?
Where she's at, she's not renting a booth. I don't even know if he offers that, does he?
So is it like a percentage they get?
Commission.
Oh.
Commission. All right, so with that being said, there's several ways to apply dip powder, okay? One is to dip it directly in the pot, all right? Which I already told y'all I don't recommend. If I see y'all doing it, I'm be like, ew, what you doing? Damn, do I have a little damping dish? Do I have a little one? If not, we can just use a regular damping dish. It don't even matter. Y'all see how they have the powder in that little damping dish right there? Y'all know the small ones. So, no. There's some little ones in the cabinet. I just didn't grab one out. So they put it. You can put it into a little damping dish like that, right? Now this is only going to work if you are doing a very short nail. Because what if you're doing, like I said, with the tip, right? Well, let's take a look at this. What if I fill this up, right? If I fill this up with powder, and I got a tip on this nail that's this long, am I going to be able to? Eventually, the powder's going to get lower and lower and lower. I'm just going to have to keep adding powder in there. Okay, because the goal here is not to contaminate this. So you need to pour out the amount that you think you're going to use, because whatever you do use, you need to do what with it? Throw it away. Now, on humans, you guys ain't working on humans just yet, so please put it back in the container. Okay, but if you use it on a human, then you need to throw it away. So if I got to keep refilling this little pot every time it goes down to where I can't fit my finger in it, then that's defeating the purpose. I'm wasting a lot of product. But let's be for real, y'all. This costs $12 for like all three. The first person who gets a dip manicure from you paid for this, okay? So don't be stingy. Throw it away. Okay, don't use dirty powder on somebody else. Again, y'all can argue with your mom about that. You don't double dip in the chips, do you?
Yes, I do.
I know you do. Oh, nasty. Just nasty. You know when people bite the chip and then they dip it in the dip, bite the chip, and then go back in because they didn't put the whole chip in their mouth? You know what I'm talking about? Spit on the chip and then dip it in there. That's called double dipping.
If it's mine, I definitely.
If it's yours, but if you're at a party, double dip next time we got chips in here. See if I don't call you out nasty. That's why you put it on your plate. Then you can triple dip if you want to. Well, who does that? We put the whole chip in our mouth. Be for real. All right. She knows she put the whole chip in her mouth.
I bite it.
Lies. That big old mouth she got, she put 2-3 chips in there.
Let me
Home Cookie Monster.
imagine
People do that.
the whole chip.
People do that. I don't care if your teeth touched it. Don't put double dip back in the dip. That's what I'm getting at here. That's double dip. You don't want to be dipping, okay? So if you pour this in here and then dip it in, that's perfectly fine if you've got like a short nail, right? Just a natural nail, because you're just going in, and until it gets, low down and empty, then you'll just throw whatever's in here. But that's not the best, most efficient way to do it if you're trying to not throw away a whole lot of product, okay? So you guys I do what I like to call the pour method, okay? You're gonna have 2 cups, and you fill in the cup because you're literally only gonna need about that much when you're doing a dip, doing dip on somebody. You're really, because you're just pouring it over the nail and letting the glue absorb, right? You take the person's finger, put it here. I'll make sure I'm on the dot, okay? Put it here, pour it over into the cup, let it absorb a little bit, tap, 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 and then switch. Do it on the next finger, boom, and then by the time you're done, you throwing away like this much. And then if you don't have enough, or you didn't pour enough, guess what you do? Pour just a little bit more in there, okay? When you guys start buying these nail products, you will understand why you want to don't be so wasteful, okay? So the pour method is the cleanest. Again, argue with your mama if you don't think it is. The cleanest way and the least wasteful way to do dip systems, all right? So get you some little cups, okay, or dapping dishes if you want to be fancy, glass and pouring it, and do that. But this is disposable. We can throw this away. We don't have to clean it. I hate doing dishes. I don't like cleaning nail supplies either that I don't have to. So you do this way, okay? So those are the different ways that you can apply dip powder to a client, okay? So here you got all these different colors, you got glitters, you got there's several advantages to doing dip versus other services. Number one, I like to say this because a lot of you guys get discouraged when you get out of nail school, okay? Especially you that are not doing nails ever, have never done it, or you're like you're not doing acrylic, or you're not really good at acrylic, or you're not really good at gel, and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna make money. This is how you're gonna make money, okay? There's several advantages to doing dip. Number one, for you, it's easy. And I ain't gonna lie, these women out here, they love it. Do you do dip? You do dip? I got my nails dipped, girl. They're strong, because you can grow some nails out with dip. Your natural nails, you can grow them out really well because it's strong. It's super glue and acrylic, okay? So it's very, very easy to do. If you can polish, you can dip, okay? Now, it saves time. It's very fast. You can get it done in 30 minutes, okay? I like them numbers. What did we say, $40 for a dip, $45 for a dip set? And you can get it done in 30 minutes? That's $90 an hour. That's lawyer money right there. Look, if I was working in a salon and I wasn't good, and this is what they do to y'all when you first start, they're gonna put you on pedicures till you prove yourself, and then they're gonna say, okay, well, you can do some gel manicures until you prove yourself. I would gel manicure all damn day long. You hear me? Y'all want to learn all this fancy stuff because you're new. Y'all want to put stones and y'all want to do all that work. You wait till you've been doing that for years and you're like, man, I wish I could. I'm gonna go work at a natural nail bar and I'm just gonna do manicures all day, walk out $1,000 richer a day, and I didn't touch enough acrylic all day long. Work smarter, not harder. Okay? Yeah, you want to be the nail tech. You want to be that girl. You want to be that one. You want to be the one that's putting all that stuff on them nails. You know how many hours that took? I'm pointing at the one Arumi won the award for. You know how many hours that took? Ain't nobody got time for that. She ain't get paid $90 an hour for that. But you will with a gel manicure. You will with a dip system. You will with pedicures. You can make easy $90 on a pedicure. Oh, you want jelly? That's $20 extra. All you did was add it to the water. You didn't do nothing else.
Oh, you want wax? Okay.
So the way you are going to survive in this industry in the beginning until you are a roomie from Statesboro, okay, or where you from? Augusta. I'm already from Augusta. Okay, that's already doing nails. Okay, until you get there, that's how you gonna eat. And guess what? You might like it. You don't mind doing a pedicure, do you? When I first
30, 45 minutes.
man, 30 minutes, especially if you're in his salon, he gonna time you. You take it too long, honey. We fast off, honey. Okay. You got to move in them people's salons or they will fire you. Okay? And that's how you gonna make that rent. That's how you gonna pay for that new Harley that you just bought. Because of pedicures and quick stuff. Yeah, all of that's fun. It looks good on the internet, but not so much in your bank account because it took you 4 hours to do that. And how much they paying y'all? What's the most expensive nail set you've done?
Me?
Mm-hmm. Most expensive.
Take too long. Gotta be quick.
It was like,
Gotta be quicker than that.
I think it was like
One. See, you already messed up.
like 170.
And how long did it take you to do it? Because it was a fabulous set that you charged one something to do.
It was like 170.
Break that down into hourly pay. You might as well be working at
I
Walmart.
agree. It was not worth it at all.
You was mad at the end.
I sure was.
Listen, you mad at the end, and these are the things that are gonna make you jaded. Do y'all know what that means when I say the word jaded? You've had enough. These are the things that will make you jaded, where you're like, I don't want to do nails no more. Well, you the one doing it. If I let me tell you something, and this is, don't y'all copy my idea. But when y'all stop coming to nail school, because I done taught all the nails that I can teach, I'm gonna open a natural nail bar. Y'all know who you know how much money. First of all, how many times have you done that?
Well, I only do it for the one specific client because it gives me.
Exactly. Does that one specific client come to you every day, all day? Do you get that same repeat type of client all the time?
No.
How many more clients do you see that get pedicures and manicures and simple stuff?
I started doing builder gel. It takes me like 30, 40 minutes just for application.
Period.
And then the nail art is so quick.
Simple.
And it looks just as good, and then you make it
If you could do that
in an hour.
all day, every day, guaranteed, because those are the people that get their nails done. Not everybody is getting stuff like this. That's a once in a blue moon type of deal. If you could get, because the people that pay you and tip you are the people that got money. Okay, they don't mind paying $60 for a manicure that took you an hour, and they're gonna tip you. I can do a manicure, a gel, this right here, with my eyes closed in 30 minutes. And if it lasts this long, y'all see how this, y'all, when was Masters? April 1st? The first week of April. This a month. And I did it a week before that.
A lot of people my age don't really want like older clients, but the older.
Those are the ones, I love them.
Ones that love
Sit down, come on, auntie, grandma, come sit with me. Come sit right here. Come sit with me, mama. I got you. I'ma do you, because that's where the money's at. And they appreciate quick, good, clean service. Okay? Yeah, that's all fun, and yeah, I can do it, but I do it when I'm bored, and then I put it on some press-ons and put it in a little thing like that, and y'all can see what I can do. But it's not about. But if you want to make money, stop trying to master all this stuff that nobody gets. Do that on your own time when you're bored at home. But in the nail salon, if you want to make some money, y'all better learn this stuff. Get good at it. I mean good, because those are the ones I pray that my books are full of gel manicures. I pray. I pray every day when I was a nail tech full time. Well, towards the end of my career, I prayed for it. Simple. Please let her just want pink acrylic with just square tips. with a gel top coat. Please, Lord, because that $90 took me an hour. Okay, that's all fun, but this is where your money. You're gonna make money on pedicures, especially in the beginning of your career. Beg for it. Put it out there that's what you do. Because I don't want any of you guys coming to me in 6 months saying I went back to working at Walmart or wherever you worked at before because you needed to make money and you wasted all your time in here. That's not the life of what I have planned for you. Okay? So these dips, learn them. It's easy. These people still love them. They getting them. Y'all get a lot of them in the nail salon. Dip. Left. Well, right now, just full disclosure, the salon that she's working at, brand new. Like probably got pedicure chairs ain't been used yet. Yeah. Okay. Brand beautiful. If y'all haven't been there, y'all need to go see Shayla. Y'all need to go see.
Where you at with see me? With Royal Nails.
It's right there on Washington Road at Baston Road. What, huh? Davis Road. Do y'all know where Georgia Military College is?
Yeah.
Across the street from Georgia Military, there's a brand new shopping center. They just opened. It's brand new. The whole shopping center. They got empty spaces in there.
Getting all cute now.
Girl, no.
Is there like a gym over there or something?
Yes, women's gym. She's right next door. So nobody really knows it's a nail salon back there. That's why it's slow. But when it starts, it's when I tell you that place is, I don't even want to go in there and touch nothing. It's that pretty. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Y'all go see Shayla. But that's
Come get your nails.
come get your nails. Don't just come and say, hey, come get your nails done. I was gonna go in there yesterday, but I wasn't sure if she was there. I was gonna go in there just tell her to soak this off for me, so I can do it when I get home. That's one thing I hate doing is soaking my own nails off, because I be sitting there like this. Are you done yet? I hate it. Anyhow, so that's what you guys, as far as the dip systems, you got all these different colors out here. Look how lucky you guys are. You got all these colors, different stuff like that. Okay, so how are we going to do it? How are we going to do this manicure? What are the steps? Okay, first and foremost, client comes in, wash your hands, right? Wash your hands, scrub, do all that good stuff. Once the client sits down, you can do, because usually it's going to be a natural nail client, right? You can do a wet or dry manicure. And what do I mean by dry manicure? We did e-files last week, right? Why I keep saying we did gel last week? We did not do gel last week. We did e-files. Remember when I was showing you guys when I was talking about dry manicures, and you can use because some of y'all bought some of those bits, the diamond bits. Use the bits, the diamond bits, to do a dry manicure. Or if you don't have a diamond bit, push the cuticle back, okay? Use your buffer, your more coarser buffer to buff that nail out, and remove the dust, okay? Very important that you remove all that dust off the nail plate, okay? Because your dip will peel off just like any other manicure if you don't prep and do your preparation properly. Okay, chances are it'll hold a little better than most because it is glue, but it will chip off. Okay, so we're going to do our wet or dry manicure. Okay, you're going to put your dehydrator and primer just like you do anything else. Okay, and then our first layer of resin is our base resin, which is, if you're doing a system, is going to be a thin base, right? But we've got one, I call my resin, when I give it to you guys, duo resin, because it can be used for more than just one thing. Okay, base, builder, top. It's a medium viscosity. Okay, so you're going to lay your base layer. What is this? remind you of a base layer? Don't get anything mixed up with, this is just a manicure, y'all. Don't you use base coat with a manicure? Same thing here. So you do your base layer, okay? So that means you're going to lay some glue down on the, and I'm gonna say glue, but resin, glue on the nail, lay it on there. And then what are we gonna put on top, sprinkle on top of it? Or dip or whatever you're gonna do. What color? Clear. And why would you do clear? Why do you do clear for any other reason? For any other manicure? But what does the base coat do? Let's think back to our manicures. What does base coat do? What is its purpose? All right. So you've got your base layer, because your base layer tends to be a little stickier than any other type of polish, right? So it helps the polish stick. But in this case, this is a glue, right? What else does base coat do? What is another reason for it? Why do you not just go right in with red polish on top of your natural nail? From what? Period. If you take this, now this is probably not dark enough, but if you had like a deep, let's just say black, okay, and you didn't put a base, and you just glue on your naked nail, dipped it in black, did another layer, dipped it in black, and then clear on top, dip it in clear. I mean, glue and then dip it in clear. When you take that nail off, your client's gonna swear she got a fungus, because the nail is gonna have discoloration. I have literally seen this. I thought the client had a fungus too, because this black has a green undertone to it generally. Okay, it's gonna have that, make it looks like the client has a greenie, and it stains the nail. So a layer of clear, just remember your steps for a manicure. A layer of clear, dip it in clear powder. Then your glue, dip it in your color, dust it off. A layer of glue, dip it in your color, let it soak in, dust it off. And then a layer of glue, dip it in what? What's your top coat? Clear. And why would we want to put clear on top? Because you guys, this is not like, unless you're perfect at this, which I'm pretty good at it on natural nail. But if you're doing this on a tip, you definitely got to file and shape it, right? Do you want to file and shape it on top of the bare color? Anybody ever did it encapsulated nail with like colored acrylic, and then you file on top of the colored acrylic, and what happens? It's gonna ruin your design. You gotta have something on top of it to protect it. So we do a layer of clear, okay, dust it off. Now, here's a step that a lot of you guys skip, and somebody's gonna do it today. Oh, you're gonna do it. You've got to spray, or in this case, brush on your resin accelerator or your glue dryer, okay? Because you just put 4 layers of glue mixed with powder. What happens when you mix something that's a liquid and a powder together? What does the consistency be? It'll be gummy. Because you've got to spray that spray on there to lock in the glue. What happens when you put glue dryer spray? When you put on a tip, you put glue dryer spray on there, what does it instantly do? It dries the glue, cures it completely, where it's nice and hard, where you can file on it. If not, you go to, anybody ever filed on a nail that the glue was still a little wet? It's a little mess up your file, doesn't it? And it's gummy, and it's not even acrylic. It looks like just like gummy. Okay? So, before you file, and let me reiterate this, the absolute very last step, do not put any accelerator or any brush on or spray on glue dryer until you are completely done. Completely. Why do I say that? Let me tell you why. And somebody's gonna do it. It always happens, and it's okay if it does. That just means that you gotta stop doing this today and do something else until you buy you another container of accelerator, because you're gonna ruin your brush. Yeah. It happens to y'all. Y'all, this stuff ain't cheap.
It won't open.
You can't get it open?
No. It's,
Oh, those are the ones that are locked
Yeah.
down? I hope the ones we just filled aren't locked down.
that should be alright.
All right. Bless you, jeez.
Yeah, they're good.
So what happens is, y'all forget what I just said, that the very last thing before you file and shape is to put the brush on accelerator on. Some of y'all forget that. And then what you do is you put a layer, you put your base layer, right? Dip it in the powder, dust it off. Then you put some accelerator on there to dry it, because you're like, I gotta dry it before I put the next step. Then you go to put another layer of glue, and guess what's still on? So we just put glue dryer on the nail plate, and then you touched it with glue. What happens to your brush? It just froze. It's hard. And you're like, oh, damn, Miss Mary told me. I don't want to tell her I messed up my glue. What am I going to do? I guess I'm going to have to do manicures for the rest of the day, because I done messed up my brush. Or you have to put it in that brush saver, which is what? Acetone, and let it sit there for however long till it gets soft again. Okay? They put that brush saver in there because people do this. All right? So, very last step is to do what? Accelerator. Very last step. Okay? And this is all going to make sense in a second. Who's going to be my volunteer today? Damn, y'all. I need somebody that ain't got nails on.
I got popcorn on my.
Well, you can wipe that off.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you. I was say you can wash your hands.
Thanks.
She like, damn, I'll do it.
I would have been like,
Damn. Yeah, what's wrong with y'all? They like, I want Miss Mary to do my nails.
two people can't say no. Somebody's gotta say yes.
Do I gotta pay y'all? I just need one finger. I can do it on a mannequin hand if y'all want to. No, I want you to let me do it on you. Can I get one person to say yes? Yeah, I need some clear powder. I think that there is, so there's a container over there. That girl donated a bunch of stuff. Is it not a blue one or a green one? Oh, you know what? It's right there in that box. Over there. Behind the, yeah. So there's some dip powder in there. I think one of them's clear. You see the big ones? Yeah. I might have pulled them out already. Did I pull them out already? If not, I'm going to need you to get me a little scoop of clear out of here, because we got to put some clear out here anyway for today. All right, so. Is that one clear?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Perfect.
It don't say.
It does say clear. It's
It
clear.
does?
Yeah, they're both. One is white, one is clear. That one's white. Okay, beautiful nails. Beautiful, honey. Honey, your nails so pretty. Let me put you on here. Look, zoom out. Okay. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hold on, let me give you this. It's warm. It's been on my ass. Just there you go. I want you to be comfortable. It's nice and warm. I mean, I just had to tell you. Okay. And y'all see. Y'all can see good. Okay. So we're just going to pick a finger here, and I'm not going to pick one that's like really, really long or anything like that, because we got to soak this off. Get it off. All right. So what we're going to do here is push her cuticle back, right? We push it back. There should be some dehydrator and primer. There's some in that little box right there. You can hang either one. That box, yeah. We had a student that, I ain't gonna say what happened to her. she's taking a long vacation. And her parents brought all her nail stuff over here.
Need a book or something.
Yeah.
Sound like much of a vacation.
Yeah, not, you know what I'm saying? You know, the correctional type. All right. We'll talk about that offline.
Please,
It's very interesting.
please.
Very interesting. I was shook it. Hold on, I can't see. All right.
Oh, you look so pretty without this.
Y'all like my glasses? I got these from Temu.
Yeah, they cute.
They just readers because I can't see up close. All right, so dry manicure, right? So she washed her hands already. Y'all can see this good, right? Let me zoom. I'm gonna make sure I'm in the middle and then I'm gonna zoom in so they can see. Just stay in the screen. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so this is her little natural nail, right? So I'm just gonna push back her, this is a dry manicure. I'm gonna gently push back her cuticles, okay? Gently. Don't shove them back to her sole, nor dig up under there. Okay, see that little bit of white stuff? That is cuticle. All right. Or popcorn. Or popcorn. Or she like, I can't get my nails done. I got popcorn on them. Whatever. Okay. Okay, I hear you. Crumbs and stuff. Crumbs everywhere. All right. And then I'm going to take a buffer. This is a 180 grit buffer, okay? This is not nothing that's too aggressive here. Now, you can use one that's maybe a little bit more coarse if you want to. But look, you see that shine's gone? And the shine gone? That's all I want. Shine gone. And we've got a little etching there. We don't want to destroy the nail plate. Now, you see all that dust? This is the part that a lot of people, they just say, nah, who cares? I'm just going to put it right over there. See, that is all stuck on there. See that? And it will come off. You just have to do a little bit of work. I mean, I know nails are fun, but it is work. Okay. Do a little work. Get that off of there. Go ahead and kind of shape the client's nail a little bit. She got a little bit of a wompish shape right there. I'm going to fix that a little bit. Just a little. All right. Now, all that dust, it's got to go, okay? And we're not just going, and I need one of those, brushes too. Yep. No, I put them out on your table right there, the black ones. Yeah, I'm going to need that. So, you guys are all going to get one of these today. It's yours, okay? Keep it, put it in your locker, all right? One of these little matte 143 brushes that we used to use for contouring, but now they're using them for duster brushes. Okay. See all this dust right here? We got to get that off. Okay, now we're not just, completely. So don't just take a duster brush and dust it all. Let's get us some alcohol or acetone, whichever, and remove that dust, because what is that dust? It's not just dust. It's skin, okay? And acrylic don't want to stick to skin, okay? So now the nail plate is nice and clean, all right? So now I'm going to use a dehydrator. And what does dehydrator do? Temporarily dehydrates the nail, and so dehydrating the nail is not the same as removing nail oil. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the dehydrator and put that on her nail here. Okay. And you can be a little bit more generous with this. I like to do 2 coats. Now remember, you're going to go through and be doing 10 nails. Boom, boom, boom. Not just one. So this would have time to dry. All right. But this dries really, really quickly. Dehydrator. All right, I like to do 2 coats. That's just me. I'm old school with it. And then our primer. Now, when you apply primer, y'all, you don't want to just brush it all over the nail, get it all on the skin. You want to be careful. So what I like to do is dab on my paper here. On my table, wherever you've got something absorbent, and very carefully apply it to the nail. Okay? All over the nail. Usually if you've got so much on your brush that it spreads everywhere, then you've got it's too much. It's going to spread onto their skin, okay? And you don't want to get it on their skin as much as possible, okay? So the primer's on there. Now the next step that I'm going to do, okay, so you guys are going to get a container of resin, all right? Now, my recommendation to you is to take some cuticle oil, some kind of oil, and put it around the rim of the bottle, okay? And that's gonna keep the top from gluing itself to the bottle. Because a lot of times we got the wrench in here somewhere. We have to wrench it off for y'all because y'all don't do this step, okay? So, I'm gonna take, because we're gonna do a layer of clear, all right? And I'm gonna bring out some clear powder for them today too. We're gonna do a layer of clear, which is gonna be our base. And I'm gonna put a very atrocious blue color on here.
Do natural.
We're gonna soak this off.
Oh.
But because I need them to be able to see.
Okay.
Okay. That's why
Atrocious.
I would never do that blue on my finger. She would, she loved blue. Okay. Blue is her favorite color.
Yes, it is.
Okay, clear powder. Pour out what you need. Okay. Now, this is your accelerator, okay, resin accelerator or glue dryer in a bottle. That's our last step, right? All right. I'm probably gonna need a file that's a little less aggressive than this. Will you grab one of those white ones that are in the 100 grit? All right, so a layer, this is our base layer. So we're gonna go in with our resin here. Don't be too aggressive with it, okay? Just gonna lay this on, put it where you want it. And you don't have a whole lot of time to do this, okay? Because remember, glue dries by the air. Put it everywhere you want it. And immediately pour this over, okay? Pour it over and make sure every spot, because it'll start to absorb, right? And as it absorbs, it will start, if it gets shiny, if there's a shiny spot, pour some more on there, okay? Because we don't want it to be wet in one spot, dry in another spot, okay? So then we let that sit there for just a few seconds, and then tap it off, okay? So that's my base layer. Now, if I were doing this on 10 fingers, I would move on to the next, to the next, to the next. Just moved on to the next, do this one, same thing, move on to the next. By the time I got back around to this one, it would be dry enough for me to lightly take this brush and dust it. So if you guys are doing one nail at a time, you want to give it a second, because if this isn't dried, you're gonna want to put accelerator on it, aren't you? And then you're gonna ruin your wood. You're gonna ruin it. So give it a second, okay? And we're not digging into this. We're lightly dusting. Watch here. It's gonna lightly dust. See that? Lightly dusted. So it's been dusted off. So we've got our base layer. Okay, so now I'm gonna just move this to the side, my clear. Now I've got my blue here. All right, next layer. Make sure you've dusted it off completely, because you will end up getting powder stuck to your glue, and it'll be another problem, okay? So make sure that you've given it a nice good dust. Now don't dig into it, but just lightly dust it, get it all off, okay? Now I'm gonna go in and we're gonna quickly do another layer, okay? Quickly. You don't wanna be taking too much time because it will dry. Oop, we got a little brush in there, bristle. And then we're gonna take this and pour it over. Okay, let it sit for a second. Not for too long, just a few seconds, all right? And then tap, tap, tap. It's like polish. It's literally like polish. It's gonna look like polish, okay? See how perfect that application is? I know. And I don't do this on a regular basis, but if I can't do nothing, I can polish now. Okay. Let it sit for a second. Again, you will have done 10 fingers. I'm talking so that I can give it some time to dry, because if I dig this down in here, this is gonna get glue on it too. And we don't want glue on this, but we can also soak this as well in acetone, all right? And we're going to lightly dust it off. Look how perfect. You'll see that. Listen, all of y'all gonna go home and do a nice natural dip manicure on your nails if next time you don't have no nails on, because it's the easiest way to grow your own if you're a natural nail girl. I'm just saying, It's so quick and so easy, and it does not, you don't have to wait for it to dry. You don't have to do all the, all of that stuff with regular polish and all that stuff. So, all right. And if you're allergic to gel, for your clients that say they have allergies to gel or acrylic, and when they're allergic to acrylic, it's the monomer. It's not usually the powder, okay? It's the monomer. This is what you're gonna do for them. They can still, don't lose a client because they say they're allergic. We got you, girl. Come and get this dip manicure. All right, moving right along to the next layer. Now you'll see it's gonna change color a little bit. I'm gonna do another layer. Make sure it's nice and smooth.
I saw that.
What y'all talking about?
They did dip. Yeah, they did dip on the toes.
How you dipping the toes?
They poured it.
Oh, they poured it. That's a thing. I guess it's a thing. You can do anything. Do you want to take it off?
I do builder gel on my toes.
I mean, but that's you still got to soak it off. Yeah, but so that's the only thing. Just make sure you're soaking it off the proper way. See how that tip got a little juicy on the tip? Put a little bit more on there. All right, and then tap it off. See how it's still a little wet right there? It's cute, right? It looks good. You like the blue?
Yep.
She like, I'm gonna do mine.
Let me borrow that too.
All right, and give it a second. Do all 10. Okay, come back around. De-dust here.
Actually, does look good.
Wait till we can do that. And see, and then now they in the system you're supposed to just put a layer of clear, and then put a layer of glue as your top coat, because you can do that. But
Glue
just
as
do
the
a
top coat?
gel top coat, clear gel top coat on top to protect it and make it shiny. Ain't nobody got time to be waiting for this glue to dry and all of that stuff. But that would be a 100%, like if you had a client that was allergic to gel, you could absolutely do. Think about what glue looks like after it's set. If you drop a drop of glue on your table and let it sit, it will dry and it will be just as shiny. But you gotta wait for it to dry. If you put that resin accelerator on top of it, it's not gonna be shiny. It's gonna be kind of,
Cloudy.
yeah, and you're brushing it, so it's gonna have brush marks in it. Make sense?
Can I ask you,
So,
in the nail salon, have I seen them start from the bottom?
what do you mean?
Oh,
Oh,
like they do
you know
like
what I mean?
half of it.
Yeah.
right. That's because they're trying to build an apex.
Oh.
They're
And
built
that's for the
that.
long nail.
Who has time for that?
Right.
If you don't whip out some acrylic and a brush and call it a day, I'm not doing that. Half a nail, fourth of a nail, third of a nail, all the nail. That's too much work. It's a thing, and there are people that are really good at it. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. That's too much work.
But you
And
have to on longer nails?
you would have to if you want an apex, build an apex. If you're trying to build a shape,
Yeah.
absolutely. But on a natural nail, you're not. If I can see your apex on a natural nail, you're doing too much. You got a speed bump. You're doing too much, right? This is a natural nail. Don't need all that. All right, one last cut. So we did. Yeah, I did. All right, so we're brushing off. Now all you need is 2 coats. All right. Now we're gonna do a third, and this is gonna be the clear. Sorry. Clear on top. And be generous with your resin, y'all. And if you get the system where it has a thicker resin, it'll be a builder resin. You might not even need to do more than one coat. Okay, so we're doing our clear on top so that we can file. Now, again, if your client has really weird shaped nails, or maybe their nails do this, you may have to do more layers so that you can file it and make it look smooth. Okay, but in her case, she's got really nice nails. Thank goodness. I would have said, let me get another volunteer. This is gonna be on the internet. Y'all gonna make me work. All right. And then tap, tap, tap. Okay, now this is what's next after I brush this off. If I file on this right now, it's gonna be gummy like acrylic that's not all the way cured. Okay, so now this is where I'm gonna take my resin accelerator, okay, Because if you were to dig, you could dig into this and it would make a dent, because it's not all the way, it's layers and layers of not all the way dried glue. So I'm gonna take my accelerator here, and it'll run all over the nail. You don't really have to dig this in here. It'll just get all over there. And now it's going to make that completely hard. And you'll see it looks rough because we need to smooth it and file it and then put top coat on top. Okay. But look how perfect that little nail is. Isn't that nice? Now, do y'all do this? Season your files? Please season your files. All right. And what I mean by that is this is a brand new file. It is very sharp on the sides. Take something, a buffer or something, and remove that edge on all 4 sides. Okay, so your client doesn't, a lot of the reasons why your clients bleed and end up, it's really because you just don't take these simple steps here. Okay, and do this on your buffers too, on the edges of your buffers when they're really, really coarse. Okay, you can take your E-file and do this. It's simple. Just don't use your carbide bits. Use your sanding band. Okay. So now I don't really have to do much. Okay. But we do have some little rough edges here, so I'm just gonna lightly shape here. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't really have to do nothing. I was gonna do something to it, but I don't really need to. I'm just gonna buff it. Okay. Take a little buff here and smooth that out. And yeah, you will just make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay, and then remove the dust. Now you could take your E-file, go around the cuticle area if you wanted to, which is something I would probably do. All right, but in this case, because I'm not pulling out no E-file right now, I'm gonna hand file right here just into her cuticle area. Don't go real deep with it. Okay. Just to shape her out some. All right, and then buff it again, and then we will top coat it. So I want you to feel this nail. It don't feel no different than an acrylic nail. And you'll see it's strong. Easy. If you can do a manicure, she's like, that's crazy. You didn't even want to sit up. See, you got up close, eagle eye view. And then top coat it with gel. I would gel top coat it, and boop, and charge them extra for the gel top coat if you wanted to. I mean, I don't charge for gel polish. This is 2025. Gel polish comes with everything. If you're charging extra for gel polish, just put it in the cost. Yeah. Instead of $50 for your set, $55 or $60 for it. Okay. Yeah. Don't say it's extra for gel. Who is picking out regular polish? Nobody. Okay, so just put it in the cost. All right, so y'all see that? That is what you guys are gonna do today. Okay, so we're gonna put some tips on our hand. I brought you guys the sticky tabs.
Aren't you nice?
I'm tired of y'all complaining about having to soak your tips off and use the tape. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. You think you can do that? We'll soak that off for you if you want to. Or if you soak it off and get a soak off grade. All right. For soak off grade. See, you should have went up here. You should have went up. Or if you want, so we have several colors up here. We even have more than I just got to bring them out of the drawer. Several colors up here. So what you guys are going to need to do, okay, is you're going to come up here. You're going to get, Shayla's going to give you guys your dip powder brushes. They belong to you. Put them in your locker. Take them home, whatever. Just make sure you bring them back so you can do your dip services, okay? You're also going to get a bottle of resin and a bottle of accelerator. What did I tell you guys to do with the resin? Get you some cuticle oil and a Q-tip and go around that rim so that it doesn't get stuck. Otherwise, we're going to have to try to pry it open with the pliers. Sometimes it breaks the whole bottle. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay? But if you ruin your bottle, you're going to have to buy another bottle. They're like $5 each. Okay? Because it's expensive. Okay? It's expensive. And let's see what else. Yeah. come get you 2 cups, 4 cups actually. You need some for clear. You need some for your dip color, okay? And you guys go ahead and get your hands. If they already, here's the thing, if they already got some acrylic on them, or if you got some, you can put this dip right on top of it, okay? If they just have bare tips on it, you need to put your tips on there. I mean, if there's no tips on it, it's just a bare hand, put some tips on there, okay? And that's what you guys are gonna do, all right? All right. Thank y'all on YouTube for watching. We are out of here. Bye. Finish.